Welcome to Spiritism at Noon. We are studying the book Empty Lives by Joanna de Angelis and Divaldo Franco. We are currently on chapter 26, and we always like to remind everyone that each chapter brings a different subject. So if you miss it, the other ones you can always go there and listen and watch it. But this one is a new subject. And today we are going to talk about spiritist behavior.
Mm,
Yeah, let me just share
um,
the screen with you. And of course, when we are talking about spiritist behavior, we are talking about the behavior of every good person or every person that has some knowledge of uh, some spiritual knowledge or, whatever, their choices may be in terms of religions or philosophy. So let us start with what Joanna de Angelis is telling us here. The moment the light of the gospel penetrates the soul in shadows, significant and rewarding changes occur. Darkness confuses and frightens, fostering inaccurate interpretations in one's deficient views according to the mental landscapes in which one's habitual interests are fixed. A lack of understanding regarding one's existential purposes generates faulty reasoning and continuous changes in one's thought processes, which must always be kept in balance and engaged in an uplifting activity. The spiritual affirmations about the immortality of the soul undoubtedly lead to an inevitable change in one's conduct due to the new reality that one now faces. In light of the certainty of the survival of the being after the molecular disaggregation of the physical body, the need arises for one to prepare to face the inevitable future, which should promote peace and plenitude. From the useful, frivolous, and irresponsible actions, one must move on to those of a positive nature, those that generate blessings as the result of wholesome, well articulated thoughts arising from one's new knowledge about existence. Okay, let's stop here.
mhm,
Um, from what I understand as well, in terms of the when we start being exposed to is the spiritual reality, knowledge, learning, from the teachings of Jesus, from spiritual teachings, uh, it is not possible for us to remain the same. It's, I mean, just a silly idea just came to my mind now, If it's raining or like today, it's snowing, and I go outside without any kind of protection or an umbrella, is there any way that the snow is not going to affect me or the rain? Of course, I mean, I will not be composed of rain or snow afterwards, but I will feel it. I will receive it. It will impact me somehow. So here as well, when we start really, uh, committing ourselves or in terms of learning and hearing about spiritual values, even if it does not lead us to a complete change immediately, which is basically impossible, it doesn't mean that it's not going to be, cooking inside. But like she says here, it's quite hard. Uh, can you hold for just 1 second, please? Mm, just a minute. The dog is crying and I need to see what is happening. Oh, sorry. So those are the things when we are, live, things happen. Um, so here she says that we are going to be dealing not only with our inner thoughts and tendencies, but also with what we are going to be seeing in the world. Uh, and even having the knowledge, the understanding of the immortality of the soul, knowing that we are going to be surviving after, like she says here, the disaggregation of the physical body, it, it doesn't mean that will come easier. But on the other hand, the more we listen to it, the more we get into it, the more it will bring us peace and plenitude, fulfillment, I should say, fullness. So this is going to be the turning point for us to start taking a new direction, to start choosing carefully our actions and what kind of choices we are going to be making, actions we are going to be engaging, all those things that will be happening at the moment we start thinking and questioning about the reality of us being an immortal spirit. Any comment or question? Yes, Marcel.
I think it's not just the leading us to a change, but we starting to have more responsibility, no, about our actions. So I'm going to the rain, knowing exactly what could happen. So comparing what that you talking before. So I think more we know, more responsibility we will have to. So I don't know. It could this part that she's talking leading to inevitable change, but could getting long this time. Depends of each one. I think. And I think for everyone is inevitable. So difficult this word, but for us that are studying, I think we have first more responsibility before the changing.
That's a very good point you brought, Marcelo, because this is what also one of the reasons that people flee from spiritual knowledge. Because as soon as you get this, let's say, new, but it's not exactly new perspective, um, it requires you to change. It's like she's saying here. I mean, it's impossible for this not to affect you. And sometimes I think we do like the ostrich that we bury our head in the sand, um, pretending nothing is happening around. And this has been, unfortunately, because of our weaknesses and in terms of commitment, and because it's always, of course, there is even a say in English, old habits die hard. that it requires a lot of commitment to us. And the first step, without a doubt, is to acknowledge that now you have a responsibility. Now I know, I didn't know before. I mean, another, sometimes I bring so many silly examples, but examples that are, I think, that helps us in this process. I I remember the time that we didn't have sunscreen, right? We didn't have this awareness about skin cancer. And we just would there lay out on the beach, and if we could speed up the process with other things, we would be doing that. Now, I mean, for a person to be that careless in terms of, going to the sun and just laying down without any kind of protection, is assuming a lack of responsibility. Because now we know, now we see the results of all that. And it's the same thing when in relation to other things, like, people when they started taking some habits, like, eating too much sweet or this or that, without realizing how bad it can be for your health. Now we are careful in terms of cholesterol, all those things, but we didn't have the information. And now that we have the information, what are we going to do? Okay. Again, it is a lot for us that we have to do, and it is impossible for us to do everything at once. So we have to pick our battles. Okay. So there are certain things, personality traits, actions that we do, that we say, I know I shouldn't, but I'm sure I'll have to fight stronger a little more in order to be able to rid myself from this. But just because I cannot do this specific thing, it doesn't mean that I cannot do the others, or that I'm going just to give up and say, I can do this. It means that I can do anything. So we will go and take the responsibility and say, like, I already am capable of running 1 mile, but not a marathon. If I keep running 1 mile, very soon it's going to be 2 and 3 and 4 until I reach, I think it's 42 miles, right? But it's a lot of miles. So do not give up or let yourself down, because there is still so many things that we have to, reprogram in ourselves. Just do what you can. And this is already assuming responsibility with reasoning, because responsibility, or I mean, or a determination that is not based, an ideal that is not based on reason, is not going to last. Like I was saying, I don't even run. If I decided to run 1 mile today, probably I will feel very bad, So it's the baby steps, right, Sarita?
Absolutely, the baby steps. That's how we begin, and sometimes very, very difficult. I know for myself and my family, when we found the Spiritist group, it was like a miracle from God. And little did we know how much we had to change our behavior.
Uh-huh.
Yes, we learned from our mom, but from our mother and the family, but it wasn't like this now. This is a little more work to be done.
Uh-huh.
And at the beginning we were amazed. We said, oh my God, how could this be? This is what mom and the family used to teach us, and we never really paid attention to it. Now, as we grew up older, we have children, we have responsibilities. Our behavior started changing quite a bit. And to this day, it's still, I mean, we're working with it. And I'm so happy that many answers are given to us. A lot of answers. We questioned a lot, but the answers are there. But we have to work very, very cautious. And again, with these baby steps, it's going to take time. And still to this day, we still battle with, okay, wait a minute, I should do this, I shouldn't do that. But then with the Spiritist teaching, it leads us to the right road. We know what we have to do. We know what we have to do. We just, it's hard work. It is not easy being a Spiritist. It's not. And if you speak to a person or two and you say just an idea, and you can see the attitude or the opinions that they give, and you say, okay, step back. They don't understand. I'm not going to get into this. But it's a lot of work. And I am so glad that we have this, because a lot of things that are going on now in my family, it's a lot of work to be patient and understand what's coming. And we have the most precious things, the spiritual world that continues to guide us as you're doing today, leading us and keeping our behavior focused. It is so important, because if not, we find ourselves in deeper situations, which we don't really want. So it's a lot of understanding and keeping ourselves focused and not ignore the teachings. Never ignore them.
I know that sometimes it's so frustrating for us because, we engage in behaviors that immediately hits us and say, "Oh my God, how could you do that?" Right? Uh, but it, but we have to accept that. We accept, and I always say that, and like I always tell you, I'm going to be repeating that until I die, which doesn't mean that I'm going to cease to exist. We have to understand that we still have a long way to go, and I mean, it's just pick yourself up and start again. Do not let yourself be dismayed by your falls, and it is going to happen, and each time we go through this wrong path, so to say, each time more our conscience is going to be more conscientious in terms of calling our attention and say, listen.
At least we accepted this challenge. No, we accept this responsibility. I always remember a friend that I had, and I invited her when I live in Brazil, and I said, come on to see a palestra in my a talk. Okay, I go. So she went to the talk, and after the talk, she said, I swear, she said, it's a lot of responsibility. I don't want to come. So she knew it, that know about this. It will be, I need to be more responsible. I know, because in Portuguese we say ignorância é uma bênção, né? She said,
ignorance or lack of knowledge and understanding is a bliss.
Yes.
Yeah, because if you know, you need to do something. It's our responsibility. So I never forgot that she's talking about. So she knew it inside, that starting this study, starting this, is like she is trying to say here, no? You need to change in some point. You will change knowing about this. So we choose if we want or no, this challenge, no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Is
interesting, Marcel, because Marcel, because we can m- make a comparison with life. It's like when I'm a child, I'll say, I don't want it to grow up.
Mhm.
I wanted to remain a child. And it's interesting that life teaches us that exactly the opposite occurs during this process, because it's if as if our spirit already knew that it has to grow, because if you up to upon a certain age, a child will say, oh, I can't wait until I become an adult, right? So their wishes are to become adults. And we ourselves, in terms spiritually speaking, we want to remain as a child, because I don't want to accept the responsibilities and everything that I have to be watchful in relation to my thoughts, to my actions, to my words, the way we say things sometimes that can be very hurtful. And of course, nowadays with social media, we sometimes just reply things or say things that can be very hurtful to others, or inconsiderate to others as well. So we have to be really paying attention to that. Let me read a little more. The dark clouds of persistent suspicion and mistrust regarding one's neighbor should disperse when one realizes that evolution is everyone's agenda, and that it occurs through significant investments in self renewal and a genuine interest in becoming part of the landscape of the good. So I love this part, because,
Yeah.
when we look around and say, oh my God, everybody's so bad, and they are saying the same about us, right? Um, they have the same goal as well as us, even if they don't know yet. As spirits, they know that they have to go upward. All right. And but the hard part is this one: significant investments. It will take a lot from us to get there, and real interest in being part of it. It's not just say, oh my God, I would love to be like you. You are so charitable, so nice to everyone, right? How many times we hear that, people saying that? I mean, if you want that so much, just do it, right? You can do it. Like, all right. Okay.
I would say when someone said this to me, I said, "You don't know me. You don't know me."
But you know what? Now that you're saying that, maybe we should reply, why don't you try? Because when we do that, because of, being modest in a way, right? Not to, brag about, yeah, I'm charitable. Yeah, I'm nice with people. We tend to be modest. Uh, we are not motivating others to do the same, because then it's like you say, yeah, I have this good thing that you're saying, but I'm really bad. There is very bad things, negative things in me. And so they say, oh, okay, if she's saying that she's not that good, maybe I don't need to make the effort. I never thought about it this way before. I mean, I'm learning as I'm speaking now. Just because you brought this, and it just this thought popped into my mind, or saying, I'm really making an effort to be this way. In this way, you can be modest, but you're saying as well that, and I'm thinking, until now, I'm thinking that it's very rewarding. Why don't you try? Right? So this way we motivate people.
I never heard about this. I never thought about this. Good idea, Josetta.
Me neither, you know. I was never to this day a person of, you know, this kind of, oh no, false modest. I I I I did something to my hair and I'm happy, and some people comes and say, "Oh, your hair looks lovely." And I said, "Oh, I know. I went to the studio. Oh, it's good. I'm
I
not
worked a lot
oh,
today.
oh, this old silly hair, you know, nah." Right? Yeah, I make a lot of effort to be like that, and you know, yeah, I really picked up this dress or this blouse, or you know, or so I think, why don't we say the same things? And I think also the idea that is coming to me now is, you know, that everything that we verbalize becomes a reality to our brain, to ourselves. So every time I say, yeah, but you don't know the other part, it's like me, instead of doing affirmations that are going to be motivating me for good, is telling me, you're not good, you're not worth. So it's
Yeah.
not just about motivating others, but ourselves. Sometimes even when I give talks and people say, "Oh, I loved your talk," I said, "Yeah, it was good, right? I worked it a lot. I work hard for that. I'm happy that you like it as well, but I worked hard to do this, you know." So yeah, I think I've never thought about it before as well.
You
You
know,
know,
because I don't know if in Brazil, when I started to study Spiritism, the people say, I don't know, I don't talk that I am spirit. I'm trying to be. It's like false modesty, you know, how you're.
yeah,
No, I'm studying. I am spirit, I think.
yeah,
No, I say not trying to be. I think I believe in spiritism, so I am spirit. So I think all this in my mind, our beliefs, our things. So I always say no. I do not say I'm good. I always say no. You don't know me? So maybe you are right. Maybe we need to change this.
yeah. And even like I said, for us to believe, every time I tell, you know, we know the power of our affirmations,
Yes.
right? I mean, if you don't feel comfortable about saying this, what is a reality and true, that you're making a huge effort and etc., and that you will realize that there is still a long way to do, you just say nothing. Yeah, you know. But I think for us to say the opposite, as we have many times been doing till now, is not good, primarily for us, because it's me repeating over and over, yeah, but you're still too ugly. You know, your soul needs a lot of fixing, you know. And this is what makes us give up and not believing in ourselves. So if we have to change an extreme, it's better to choose the extreme of saying, "Yeah, I am. I'm doing an effort to be each time more, you know, uh, charitable and nicer to people. Everyone is having it so bad those days that I think it's my obligation to be nicer and to, you know, to appease everyone, whatever you want to say. But I think it's more in this line.
Yeah.
So I just ask here, the depressing themes of everyday life resulting from pessimism and egotistical disappointment become a heavy mental burden that give way to healthy reflection and edifying conversations, creating luminous conditions for cheerful living at all times. So when we do those investments, the significant investments in self-renewing ourselves and really want to be part of, the community of good, uh, instead of just focusing our attention in what is bad and negative, just to give us more ammunition to so that you can say, yeah, what's the point? Look around. Here she says, the more we engage in this knowledge, spiritual knowledge, and start doing the effort, the more we will be changing our ways. We'll be, trying to engage in, if we are having a conversation and it tends to go through, a negative, pessimistic direction, we can be the ones that are going to be bringing, an edifying, more optimistic reflection. So we will be completely changing the atmosphere around us. And we are there that powerful. If we put ourselves into it, we can do it. It's sometimes people come to, oh my God, you are so cheerful. You bring your you always bring your happiness to our conversations. Yeah, it's just sometimes it's just one person that, because of the attitude, realistic attitude, because here we are not talking about someone that is completely oblivious to the problems and everything that is happening around, and lives like in a dream that everything is a yellow brick road, right? Yellow brick road. But it's a different vibration that we bring to the conversations, right? So this new perspective slowly takes over safely and productive, forging a new way of living the physical experience. Attitudes that used to be part of one's family and social life are no longer suitable, allowing new ways of looking at these opportunities as a consequence of one's new perspective. Successively, new habits and patterns replace the old ones, which had been immortal, full of vulgarity and heinousness. For this to happen, however, it is essential for one to consider the knowledge and evangelical teachings that one has acquired as being essential in this challenging process of spiritual self construction. When Jesus said, I am the light of the world, he meant that the darkness of ignorance that cause all the ills that dominate society will give way to harmonious discernment, which will drive advancement along the infinite road of progress. So we see here, uh, and like you were saying before, Soraya, is we can see the changes in ourselves, right? We don't, of course, again, it's not going to be happening uh, overnight, but we can see uh, how all this knowledge and understanding is impacting us.
Yeah.
Any comment? Or I love this. I'm the light of the world. Um, We don't even understand quite well, I think we can't, what this means when we think about the transfiguration of Christ at the Tabor Mount. Uh, it's more than just saying, uh, the knowledge, the examples that I bring that uh, reflect the law of God, the natural laws, represent light, because he is also pure light. So it's like, let's see, again, like I have a switch in my house, or in this case, I have a switch in my soul that is just up to me to go there and turn the light on. So it's like, God, Jesus is ever present in us, but it's up to us to go there and move the switch up.
Yeah.
And we connect to this light, and we eliminate the darkness, and little by little, the light is going to be more and more and more, right? Any comment? Okay. With the light of reason guiding such progress, existential contents change, and the idealism of love vitalizes the individuals who start to yield trustingly to the liberating proposals of the good news. So again, we are always talking about reasoning, because even your friend Marcel that said, "Oh no, this is too much responsibility for her to make this assessment." It is because it went to her reasoning. She understood.
I thought the same. I think she's conclusion is for a person that understood the message that she in that time listened. So something changed inside, maybe not that time, but in some point she need to change. She already doesn't change it, because I continue look her, no? She never thought about spiritual things. She liked to travel, to live. I don't know. Maybe she not focus this area yet, but something inside is there.
Yeah. And I mean, there is a time for everyone. And sometimes, like we always say, since it's not a matter of time, but quality. It's amazing how many people we see really making huge changes, uh, as a way of saying almost overnight, you see. It's like something clicked, and now, you know, I use the switch to turn on the light, and now I can go back. I can go back to the dark. I saw the light now. I want more light. What can I do to do that? And just this morning, every day I listen to a minute with Divaldo Franco. There is an app, Spiritism Play, and that you can subscribe. It's amazing, and it helps all the children at Mansion of the Way. And every day there is this a minute with Divaldo, and he was saying, I mean, I'm going just to say my own words. Be careful with trying to do too much. Which is something that I always think and have observed, when we wanted to do too much, we can't deal with that, and there is um, a great probability that we will not be able to cope with that. So he was talking about, people, they are so good and so helpful to others that all of a sudden they do not have time for themselves. And I mean, time to do the trivial things the ordinary things that you have to do in your daily activities, right? And because there is always this much pressure, and you have to feel obliged to always be doing something. And according to what he's saying, it is, I mean, it doesn't give you time to do what is necessary for you to deal with the aspects of life, but also it doesn't give you time to grow as well in stopping for a while and collecting yourself and meditating, in gathering more, knowledge, expertise that can help you in this field. And it becomes so overwhelming that then the pressure from yourself, your physical body, your family members, those that surround you will say, this is crazy. This is being a fanatical, right? If you're careless about, the obligations that you have in your physical life as well. So I thought it was very important for us to understand this. It's slowly but surely. This is the way we have to do the things. And when we do it like this, we are capable of achieving great things. And when you were talking, Soraya, about, you and the sisters, the family that started going to the Spiritist group of New York, where we open in a couple of months. It's going to be 23 years ago,
My God,
right?
believe
23
it.
years ago, the official date, because we were doing things before, but the official date is 23 years ago. And
Can't
and I
believe
mean, when we
it.
opened that,
Mm,
we never realized. I mean, we just had the intention of, doing good, of bringing those
right.
things, of sharing this knowledge with people. And um and I mean, we were not never even thinking that pretty soon we are going to be a quarter of a century,
Oh
right?
gosh. Well, I
And
think I yeah.
and so many things and activities and responsibilities. If you think of that, at
Yes.
first you just say no,
Yes.
not for me. I cannot do it,
Oh, absolutely.
right?
Oh yeah, absolutely so. It's like you just said that sometimes we do things with family members. You want to do all that we can to help, and you get to a point that you have to stop because you could get yourself overwhelmed of doing so much, and they expect so much, especially the younger generation. So, and sometimes I get frazzled because I do too much. And then it's, what is too much? You have to analyze what you do. Like Augustine says, look at yourself every day in the mirror, see what you're doing, and correct and do what you can that's best for yourself. It's not only give, and do, because then I lose myself.
Yeah.
Say, what am I doing? I'm so fragile. I'm doing too much. Wait, stop. And the behavior, my behavior, I have to keep looking at it because I want to do so much, but the other person has to do also. I can't do for them. They have to do it themselves, and I have to stand back and say, okay, wait, be patient, wait. So that's very, very difficult to do, especially if it's a large family, a lot of kids, and everything that goes with family. So you gotta watch the behavior. I gotta watch my behavior, not everyone else's, but mine also too.
And sometimes also, Soraya, the worst thing is that we are doing so many things and is training ourselves with things that are more related to the trivial things of life, the material life. And when it comes for us to, you know, pass on knowledge and wisdom and and all those things that have more to do with a spiritist behavior, even if it is to say, you know what, now I'm going to get my grandchildren and great grandchildren, and we are going to be visiting a nursing home
Yeah.
or a place for children. We don't have time. We don't have the energy because it's just, taking care of, the
So,
material things, right? And the hardships that comes and that's point, and we extenuate ourselves with things like when Jesus told to the young man that said, I want to follow you, but first I want to bury my father. And he said, let the dead bury the dead, not in the sense that we should not be respectful to this ritual that we do, but he used the opportunity to say, do not waste too much time in things that
yeah,
are
not in-
not really belong more to the world of illusion.
Mhm.
And from our perspective now, is as if he was saying, listen, the spirit is not there.
Mm.
It's just a decomposed body. It's most probably the spirit. There is more probability that this spirit may be with us, with me, than there with a dead body. So instead of paying attention to this spirituality, we will pay attention to a vessel that is already empty. I couldn't express myself well, the way I was thinking here, but I think it has much to do with that, you know,
Yeah.
uh, focus more on the spirit.
I think we waste time sometimes, no? Focusing something that is not so important. Oh, today I was confused because we came from travel, and I'm thinking I want to participate because in the last week I couldn't because I went to help the librarian that asked me. And today, no, but the shop is in front of my door. The kitchen is, oh, we don't have anything inside the fridge. The clothes are everywhere. So I'm thinking, but this needs to be my priority. This is more important for me, you know. Other things could wait a little bit more. So I think all things that we need to do in our day, we need to priority focuses in our spiritual things too. No, not just our pleasure, like eating. I love eat sugar, but I know that give me a headache. So not always do the things that we love to do, like my kids always say, no, but this I don't like to eat. But it's not just we uh, and not all the times we eat something that we love. Sometimes we need to eat something good, real nutritional for us. So it's like, no, I need to do a lot of things, but now I try to focus and I listen everything. I cutting this, I think in 1 hour, but I just I just cut one chicken because it's more important to me focus. So I think we need to take care with our priorities in a day, where we are wasting time with things, or sometimes with Instagram, wasting time with bad conversations. Or so I always trying to figuring out, this is a good thing to have now in my mind. This is a priority. This is good for my evolution. So I always think sometimes it's not working.
And the thing is, we are talking about sometimes 15 minutes to tops to an hour. And I don't know for you, but for me, after I finish, I have so much more energy that everything that I have to do related to, life itself on matter, it becomes easier, and I feel lighter and energized and more optimistic. And yeah, so I think again, it's a matter of reflecting uh, how much we gather from really trying to now this time, like Joanna de Angelis says, do something, make an effort, because the more you do that, the more you will feel well, the more you will feel balanced, the more you will feel at peace, in peace. So I think it's like you said, we you have to prioritize our things. Sometimes, of course, the world calls. We have to attend our obligations as well. The body is tired. You have to listen to the body as well. But when it's time for us to engage and to enlighten our soul, I think we should grab this opportunity because we don't know how long we are going to be having them, really, right? So, yeah, we are going to continue because there is still a second part. So, we will continue this topic next week. I didn't want to rush because I thought this was a very, important and conversation and reflection for us as all. And it's always so nice when you bring your comments as well. Uh, okay,
Yes.
so